I'm Carolyn, and during this really difficult time that we're all experiencing, I've heard a lot of people say they wanted to maybe learn how to do some gardening. So I thought I'd welcome you to my garden. You may notice what's blooming so far in my garden, since we are just the beginning of April, are the daffodils. We have a few different colors. Those we plant in the fall, and maybe in the fall I'll show you how to do that. But today we can enjoy their beauty. We also have a few little smaller bulbs that are popping up here and there, you may notice throughout the garden. All those, again, we plant in the fall. You may notice our Lenten rose. Those are not bulbs. Those are a perennial. It can start in the winter blooming. There are some that start real early, and it blooms right through Lent and Easter. And you can see these, their heads go down a little bit, but they have such a pretty blossom. And if you look down below, I've let some reseed, and I hope to transplant some of those into another garden. In the spring, I like to update my window boxes. So what I've done is removed all the evergreens I had at Christmas time, and I bought a potted daffodil, put that in, and some new potting soil, and then placed some pansies around. The smaller ones in front, these are violas, and the pansies are toward the back, and they can stand a little cold, like snow or even frost or anything like that this time of year. They're pretty hardy. Here I've planted a whiskey barrel, half a whiskey barrel, with some of the bulbs that rodents sometimes will eat. This way they don't get up into the barrel and eat them. So I can have hyacinths or other flowers like tulips in this. Here's some little tulips coming because they don't climb up and eat the bulbs. But I like to add a little whimsy here and there in the garden. You'll notice a few funny little things I put in. This garden has a lot of daffodil bulbs and some pachysandra. It's a special variegated variety of pachysandra. And a few other little grape hyacinth bulbs are growing here. But uh-oh, I've got a weed. This one I know is a deep-rooted one, so let me get it out of there. Easy to do. Make sure you get the whole root. Shake the dirt off, done. The daffodils that knock their little heads down in the rain, I like to cut them, bring them in, rinse off their faces, and make bouquets with them. I wanted to point out some of these sweet little spring bulbs that are popping up here along the patio, a few different kinds. And I just love that color, especially with the daffodils. They have such a nice contrast with the yellow and blue. And down where you are, I'm going to show you, we have some wildflowers that invited themselves or volunteered to come into my garden. Take a look closely at those. Those are bloodroot. And the little blossom pops up first. You might see they look a little bit like a daisy. And then later on they'll have a large green leaf that's quite pretty. But if I were to dig it out, which I don't want to do, you'd see that the root, when broken, has sort of a fluid that comes out that looks a lot like blood. That's how it got its name, bloodroot. This is one of the prettiest times of year when I see the pretty yellow and whites of the daffodils and that bright, bright blue of all the rest of the little spring bulbs. I really wanted to show you this particular plant here. Come in closer so you can see it. It's one of my all-time favorites. They call it spring snowflake. It's like a gigantic lily of the valley. They're wonderful as cut flowers when you make a bouquet. I really love those big bells with the little green tips. If you want, I can later post the botanical name. But spring snowflake, you order it like you do a daffodil bulb from Brex or one of the bulb companies and plant it in the fall. And then they just look magnificent in a bouquet. Someday I'm going to show you how to make bouquets of flowers.